So, Smitty,
What's
do
up?
you like cartoon hedgehogs?
You know what? Yeah, I'm a fan. How about you?
Yeah, yeah, sometimes. I don't know.
Sometimes. Well, specifically what color? Because I'm thinking of 3 different colored hedgehogs right now.
I like green. I like the green hedgehogs.
Oh, you're talking about the one from the comic?
Yeah,
Wait, what's his name? I'm being serious. What's his name? I forget.
Scourge, or I don't know. Scrooge McDuck.
Dude, I've neglected the comics and I feel horrible about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we start going deep into this, what did we find out a name for this? It's Sonic the Pod, right?
Sure. I hope people don't see it just like randomly in their suggestions or whatever, and it's like, Sonic the Pod? What is this?
Like a pea pod?
And then you gotta click on it, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, this is our first kind of like preemptive episode. I don't want to say episode, meaning like we'll make a bazillion of these, but I mean that'd be fun. But yeah, so we're just sitting here. We have a lot of really deep Sonic conversations. That's why we decided to record this. So, I don't know. Do you have any sort of kind of intro that you planned on wanting to do, or what's up?
No. I have no idea how I wanted to do this. Basically, everything's blind. Let's just see what works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here I can start with myself. I'm Smitty, like that's how I'll be called here. On YouTube, I don't really have a YouTube. I pretend I know what I'm doing with like Mega Drive sound fonts and all that stuff, but I really like the Genesis and I do like blue cartoon hedgehogs, and that's my side of the coin. How about you?
Alright, my side of the coin. Alright, whatever. I'll just be called Tony. Who cares? It's whatever. You already know me. I'm 74 Sonic Mario. Just look at the channel.
How many subscribers? Do you keep track of that? I didn't even look.
No, I just always assume that I'm like stuck perpetually at like 2,600 because I've never gotten out of that range in like 2 years.
Okay, so I had a really good question for this. I wanted to, because we both agreed we're fans of cartoon blue hedgehogs, and I'll let you take it. By the way, feel free to interrupt me too, because unfortunately I might be interrupting you a lot. But I did want to ask you, I think I've asked this before, but I forget. What was your first Sonic the Hedgehog game, or your first experience with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Ooh, alright, so this is kind of a story, not really, but I got introduced to Sonic through my brother, actually, the accursed one, the cursed man. His friend, when he was in like 5th grade, I was in like kindergarten or something, he got like Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube from his friend. Wow. I think that was the first game I played, but I think my first experience was me watching him play Sonic Adventure 2, and I remember it was the Rouge stage where it was Dry Lagoon, and I remember that I didn't like how they picked up rings, and I don't know why. I thought it was gross.
You didn't like it?
No, I thought it was gross for some reason, because I imagined them like going through the rings, and I don't know why, but I thought that was gross. And I didn't like it. And then, like, he activated Omo Chow, but then, like, I couldn't like, see him anywhere, because he just, like, flies around, and I'm like, who's a little kid talking?
And so you're hooked for life after this experience.
Yeah, obviously.
What I really respect about that is that you remember the multiple games, but specifically you remember the stage.
Well, it was a life-changing experience.
Well, clearly, with a anthropomorphic bat running through rings.
Yeah.
I've definitely told you before, but for the sake of repeating it, this is a weird one. My first experience with Sonic the Hedgehog was always like, you always know he exists, you know, kind of like a big mascot of a company or something. But the first game that I ever played with Sonic the Hedgehog was the fabled Sonic 06. And I beat Sonic's story in that game, and for whatever reason, I never looked back.
Did you like it?
No.
You didn't like it? How did you get into Sonic then?
You know what? It was Kingdom Valley, the Mach Speed section in Kingdom Valley. How like beautiful everything about that was. Where I knew I was sucked in for life, but horrible game. People that defend it, you're not allowed to do that. How do I word it? It was like I didn't know the game was bad at the time, so I'm thinking of like the first Mach Speed section on Wave Ocean, like, you know, where you keep dying and then you game over and then you realize, wait, there's no autosave when I had to get that bounce bracelet or whatever, so you have to literally start the entire game over again. And I just thought it was my fault. I didn't realize the game was critically panned. I honestly thought I was just horrible at video games.
Yeah, that's what you do as a kid. Like, I remember when I first played the game when I was like 13 or something, because I heard how bad it was, and I was like, oh, so this game's... Yeah, but like the thing is, I got the game, and then I played it on my brother's Xbox, and like I expected it to be like horrible, like he couldn't control well at all, but it wasn't that bad, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll probably like talk about this kind of stuff later, but like the way those levels were designed, beautiful. That's how I want it to be done. The controls are really tight, which I like. It is just literally everything else, man. It's like kind of like a cliche to say there's no polish in like a given game, but there wasn't any polish in that game.
Yeah.
And, you know, come to find out, like, articles years down the road were like, that was not at all the final build of the game, and how they had to separate Sonic Team for the Wii game and all that stuff, and it's just, what could have been, you know?
It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, man, it's... Okay. We've already talked about this before, but to get this recorded, what's your favorite era of, like, Sonic? And when I say that, I'm talking about, like, the classic era, the Dreamcast era, which includes 06 in that little category, and then the Boost era that we have now. Which one is your favorite?
All right, so kind of cliche. I'd say Dreamcast because
cliche.
Well, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, if it's not Sonic Adventure 3, then I don't want it. It doesn't have Char Garden, I don't want it. And I don't want to be like one of those people, but like, it is what I want, but I'll still like Sonic, you know?
Right.
It might just be because, like I said, I grew up with it, but I mean, I do still think that those games have the best control of Sonic in 3D, and it had it had good level design at times. There were like a few times where it slipped up, but yeah. And
I'll say
story, whatever. No, it's fine.
No, hang on, because you are touching on the story. This is something I kind of neglect, so keep going.
I was just going to say, I kind of like the stories. I mean, they weren't perfect by any means, but I like how the story, like, intertwined with the gameplay really well. Right. Like, you'd see Sonic jumping out of the plane, and then the level would immediately start with, like, you jumping out of the plane and then onto the road. I thought that was cool.
Using the piece of, like, the helicopter door as, like, your snowboard.
Yeah. That's something I did like about Sonic Lost World, because like in the intro, Tails is like, oh geez, we're gonna crash, watch out, and then the level starts and you're just like standing on the ground, and then you can see in the background, and then in the background you can see Tails still in the plane, like crash landing in the background. No. Like, okay, what was I doing then?
Oh my god, that's not horrible, but that's horrible. I'll agree with you. My favorite era is the Dreamcast era. I kind of neglect the story though, because for me, in a cartoon hedgehog game, the story kind of is second fiddle to the gameplay. But I'll definitely agree. I'm a supporter of like the way things were done in the Dreamcast era, but I don't at all think the level design was perfect. But like you said, there were some moments where it was beautiful. Like, I love Emerald Coast out of Sonic Adventure 1, just because, like, it feels open world, you know? It's not really. It's actually kind of linear compared to some boost games, but it felt like you were doing things not because you were directed to them, but because you wanted to do them, you know?
Yeah.
And Green Forest, very linear, but that level is near and dear to my heart from Adventure 2. I love that one. But yeah, like set pieces and all that stuff. It's, you know what? Let's just get right into the nitty gritty right now. My hot take is I hate the boost era level design, what it's come to.
Ooh, that's a pretty hot take.
I think the word hate makes it a hot take, but there's a lot. I know there's a lot of people in my camp that disagree or that agree with me. But you haven't played Forces though, right?
No, and I want to, but I don't want to.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the proper sentiment. Have you seen the articles? There was an article, one dude that was being a jerk about it, but there's another guy who actually, honestly, beat Sonic Forces on PC under 2 hours and refunded the game.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
I think the boost gameplay, like the level design, can be really good. I think my favorite design level from the boost formula was Seaside Hill from Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
That was really good.
You know what? That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. I was about to say, I really like Sky Sanctuary, again, out of the same game, but Seaside Hill's not raw. You know what I hate about like the boost era is that they rely, or at this point with Forces, they rely on like the 2D sections to carry the entire burden of like the level, and I really don't like that. And I mean, you played the classic Sonic games, right? Like off of the Genesis.
Yeah.
Like the 2D level design from the boost games is more akin to like an old 2D Mario game than like a 2D Sonic game. Like no slopes and all that stuff, and that kind of bugs me. It's just doesn't feel right, man.
Yeah, and yeah, I was hoping they'd get better at it, but it just kind of seems like they're getting worse.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if this game Forces was actually in production for, what was it, like the 4 years or something, but waiting 4 years for another boost game and this is kind of the level design that you get is questionable. I'm not going to say it's bad. This is the first game I've ever played where I expected it to be mediocre, and I played it, and it was mediocre. It wasn't bad. No, it's not a bad game, but it's not good.
I don't know.
50%.
Oh, this is another thing about the, not really level design, I guess, but like just how the levels are designed. Like,
right.
All right. So in the 3D sections in modern Sonic, at least from what I've seen, I haven't played the game, but like in stages like Green Hill or whatever, I don't, like everything just looks more linear. Like you're on like a straight cliff instead of like a huge field like in Generations, you know? It just feels more like confined. It's not like that Sonic Adventure Emerald Coast where you're not, like you don't feel like you're being guided. You feel like you have to.
Right.
I think there's a certain way to do linear stages and make it feel more open than it actually is, but Sonic Forces, I feel doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you can have, and I'm even thinking of Emerald Coast as like a perfect example, is that you can guide the player through like a corridor, but it won't feel like a corridor if there's a bunch of winds and turns, you know? But like in Forces, or here, in Generations, they'd open you up in the big field, and then slowly they would funnel you into the hallway, and then you can go do your quick stepping, whatever. But like in Forces, they don't start with that open field. It's just immediately you're in the hallway, and it's bothersome, man. And the potential's there too. Like especially all the guys they hired to do the levels for Generations. Like it's unfortunate we're talking about a game from 6 years ago. It's like the pinnacle of this, but I really think it was.
Hey, oh yeah, did you hear that Forces only had like 3 level designers?
Yeah, I was seeing all the screenshots and stuff on Twitter. See, that's another thing. That's why I can't that's why I don't blame them for a bad job. sympathize with them. But
yeah,
I still don't think they did a good job. Like, what I ended up doing is I made a modern Sonic like stage what I wanted, and then I sent that to Tony as like a 3D thing. And now I didn't hear back from you, meaning that it probably wasn't good, but
no.
That's what I want, like a modern Sonic stage to be. It was very adventure-esque, and it's like I firmly believe that's completely possible. That kind of level design in a boost formula game.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. I just forgot to say anything.
And did you happen to see the 2D section on that, by the way?
I thought it was a 3D section because Roblox doesn't have like that kind of view, but
oh yeah. But did you eventually see? Oh yeah, this looks 2D. Or
yeah.
Okay, because I mean, like, I don't like 2D sections, so I just put that in there to cover like every boost formula Sonic trope I could think of, and then immediately that 2D section's really going to take like 5 seconds if someone was actually playing it, and then you go in the loop, and now you're doing the quick stepping down that waterfall. But yeah, I do not like the. Hang on, I don't like how the 2D sections are a crutch on the rest of the level. It's like the level designers don't have enough confidence in like an ability to create a 3D stage that lasts a long time, so you slow it down with 2D platforming.
Yeah, that's it. That reminds me of the thing, like the main problem that I have with the boost gameplay. I think that I don't want to say it's like unhealthy, but it's not like a good direction for Sonic, because if you think about it, if you just like that kind of gameplay with that kind of speed is really like it uses a lot of resources for just like such a short amount of time, and you need to do things like 2D sections or adding classic Sonic a Werehog or something to make the game longer.
Right.
And I just think that it kind of, I don't know, damages Sonic. I think he needs to just slow down a bit.
Right. Yeah. And like I have a video. I wasn't actually high when I made this video, but the name of the video is Playing Sonic Forces While High. And I was very sleepy that night, so I'm just sitting there on one of the levels or standing around. I was apparently goofing around, like jumping on top of like breakable objects and kicking them around and stuff, but watching that video, I look and I see the level of detail that they put into everything, and I appreciate that. But the one thing that is disappointing about it is that, like, with the boost gameplay, the inheritance of the need to use or, press the square button, the X button, whatever it is, it's like, you're not going to see any of that. All that's going to go by in like 4 seconds, maybe 2 seconds if you've sped run the game. And it's what you said, the waste of resources, right? It's like, I wouldn't feel good about that if I put that amount of time into some background details and you're not going to see it. Not that I'm saying they should slow down Sonic to the levels of like a normal platformer, but I don't know how I feel about the boost.
That's what I like about Sonic
Unleashed.
Actually, like if you play through, not the first level because that's like a tutorial, but like Apatos or whatever, however you pronounce it, there's like so much detail. Like you can see civilians, you can see like seagulls, like barrels that you can kick. They're just like so much you can do and see if you slow down, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not supposed to. That's what it is. And what I liked about, you mentioned Seaside Hill, and Sky Sanctuary does the same thing. I can't think of another zone off the top of my head. Maybe Planet Wisp in Generations 2, just because that whole entire stage is 2D. But just because the boost is there, it doesn't mean you have to use it,
Yeah.
And those levels didn't need you to hold down X, or if you did, you'd probably fall off somewhere and die. And what I really liked about those is that they didn't rely upon the boost button. And within that, like you're talking about the level of detail and all the things that you can see, those few levels, you can actually, like maybe accidentally, maybe on purpose, see all the really cool things in the background, and that adds like to the quality of play, at least I would think, as the player.
Yeah.
And I think it's a tricky road. Tricky, sketchy. Yeah, I'll say sketchy. It's a sketchy road the way the Sonic games are going now. I do definitely want you to play Forces, but don't spend the money. Wait until it's on sale. That's my review. But
okay.
Hey, you've seen gameplay, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's if the boost formula keeps getting distilled to the point that it's at with Forces, it's not going to be fun because it really just feels like a roller coaster simulator at this point. It's like the opening to Asteroid Coaster Act 1, but that's all 30 stages. You're occasionally jumping into different carts and quick stepping, but beyond that, that's it. Everything else is on rails and done for you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
Speaking of that, you know what I feel horrible about? Like, talking bad about Forces is that Sonic Colors is basically the same game.
Yeah. Well,
like,
yeah, it is. I feel like, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't want to be labeled as, like, a hypocrite for saying that I like Sonic Colors and not Sonic Forces.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I feel like Sonic Colors does a lot of really good things too, but also does... I don't know. Maybe I am a hypocrite.
You know what? Hey, I can back you up because I don't enjoy or hate Forces, and that's a very weird thing to come to terms with, and I like Colors. What I do think Colors did better, because they both have like similar level design, is the corridors in Sonic Colors were much wider.
Yeah.
So they didn't feel like corridors. They just felt like very large rooms. I'm thinking of like how wide the runways were in like Tropical Resort, the opening level.
Yeah.
And then comparing that to like Green Hill. I do think that sense of space, they did that a little better in Colors. But yeah, it feels kind of dirty talking not positively about Forces, like critiquing the level design, but then the game 7 years ago that came out, like, yeah, I do enjoy that one though, you know?
I feel bad, because, like, I imagine, like, a Forces fan comes on and you're like, ooh, a podcast about Sonic, and then we're just spending the entire time hitting on Forces.
But, you know, what I appreciate about, like, you talking about it, though, is that, like, you're not, like, bombastically, like, it's a horrible game, and it's, like, there's so much, like, polarization with any fandom, honestly, but I mean the Sonic fandom as well. There's a whole bunch of polarization. People will be bombastic and be like, worst game of 2017, like, you need to fire all of Sonic Team, and taking their opinions way out of proportion. And I appreciate that you don't do that. You seem like a very reasonable fella.
Thanks, fella.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is actually kind of a good segue because we both like Sonic Colors. What's your favorite Sonic game? And this includes like all of them. It can be like the Sega tennis games they had on the 360.
This is hard. I wanna be basic and say something like Sonic Adventure. Period.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, hang on. If you're saying Sonic Adventure, the Dreamcast version or DX?
I don't know. Well, I feel like the Dreamcast is more polished, has better graphics, hot take, but maybe not hot take.
No, that's an interesting take for me personally.
I can go more in depth about like my opinion on the graphics later, but it's hard because like the Dreamcast is more polished, has better graphics, blah blah blah. But like at the same time, DX also does a lot of things that you're surprised that the Dreamcast doesn't have, like the mission mode maybe, and you can't skip cutscenes in the Dreamcast version, which is crazy.
Yeah, the mission mode's news to me, by the way. I feel bad for not knowing that existed.
You didn't?
I never knew.
Wow.
And I call myself a Sonic fan.
I think the Chow Gardens are also a lot different in the Dreamcast, but I might be wrong.
Isn't Sonic shinier in the GameCube version?
I think so. There's a lot of different versions that are like the GameCube, where Sonic was a lot shinier. It's kind of like a Sonic 4 situation, where all the versions look the same, but like Sonic is way shinier in another.
I think it was a complaint about one of the adventure games was the first one, Sonic was shiny, but also the other one that like textures were darker, if that made any sense. Like they weren't as vibrant. But I can't remember which version that was, if that was the base Dreamcast game or the director's cut.
I know that the Dreamcast game is really dark, but Sonic wasn't shiny in that game.
Right, that might be it then. There was some change. Oh, my favorite change. This is for Adventure 2. My favorite change that they made, it was a glitch fix, and I'm sure you know about it, is that if you took Tails into the Chow Garden and you put him in the pool, he could actually drown and die.
Yeah.
And then they go and fix that in Adventure 2 Battle, but it's stuff like that. There are definitely a bunch of glitch fixes in the GameCube ports, though. But I don't know. I don't really like my Sonics to be very shiny, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people would agree, but I don't like how Sonic Heroes looks.
Really?
I mean,
what did you like about it?
Well, it doesn't look terrible, but I don't like the models are really, 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 really shiny.
Yeah, that's good.
The models, I mean, I guess they're fine. Everything looks bright and it's fine, but I don't think it looks better than like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast or something. I don't know. I guess hate is an overstatement.
But you dislike it?
Yeah.
You know one thing I don't like about Heroes?
What?
Is it feels... Now, it does kind of control slippery, but it also just, like, eye test looks slippery, and I'm thinking about Team Sonic in particular. And Sonic's, like, walk into run animation is really weird. Like, his arms are, like, flinging, like, 5 feet to his side, and then finally, you know, he does, like, the anime run thing, but for whatever reason, that animation just really irks me.
You know what irks me? This is kind of on the run animation. Even in the CGI trailers, like, for the game, Sonic runs like he does in the game with his arms flailing, and his arms clip into his spines, like his head spines. Yeah.
This is the stuff only we would notice. Yeah, that bugs me.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice it before, but yeah, that bugs me.
Wait, is it clipping into his back spines, his head spines, or both?
I didn't notice his back spines, but I know for a fact his head spines they clip into.
That bugs me. Especially when it's the nice CGI cutscene.
I know.
I can't think about that the same. I also don't like Tails' voice actor from the Dreamcast era. A lot of people do, I don't.
Okay, by Dreamcast era, what do you mean? Because he never had a consistent voice actor.
You know what, that's true. We're talking every child they picked up off the street to voice him from Adventure to Heroes. And Shadow, actually. And Shadow.
That was the 4Kids voice actors.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'm a buttface. I just assumed that they had a different child actor for Shadow. Okay, so just Adventure to Heroes then. I do not like that Tails.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel. I like his voice. I don't like his performance.
Delivery could have been better?
Yeah, because he's a kid. Like, you can't blame him, but...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't hate the specific person.
Yeah.
Just like... God, the 4Kids voice actors really got into form by Sonic and the Black Knight. I think that was the last game they did.
Yeah, I love Griffin. Griffith. Not Griffin.
His Sonic X voice, putrid, but his main game voice, I could live with it. I was fine with it.
Yeah, I think he sounded really funny in '06. It's really funny to make fun of him because when you'd go off trick ramps, it's like a very stereotypical Griffith voice, like okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like yeah. Yeah, I know exactly. The okay. Oh, those trick rings, man. Sorry, Sonic 06 is seriously like my childhood game. You're bringing back that specific memory of you've just jumped off all the springs on the lighthouse thing. Now you're grinding on the lighthouse. Now you're grinding on the rail connected to the lighthouse for some reason. Then you jump through that rainbow ring. He's like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, oh, F that game, man. But, oh, speaking of heroes, that game literally made me stop playing video games for 6 months.
Why?
There's one level, I think it's really early in the Team Sonic campaign, but there's lava rising, and you're in like a cylindrical, you have to climb up it, and I died so many times on that I literally turned off my GameCube, neatly packaged the game all back up, stowed that thing away in the back of my closet for 6 months.
Okay, you know what's
play a single video game.
you know what's really weird?
What's
I
that?
feel like sometimes when I was younger, I was better at video games than I am now because that section didn't have any trouble on, no matter how many times I played it. The Metal Sonic boss fight in Sonic CD, I got all the way up to there, didn't die once. It was really easy for me, and now I can't beat it.
As a kid, you got all the way up.
I was like 7 playing Sonic Gems Collection.
Oh my god, man. Oh, do you like Sonic CD?
I don't know.
Okay, I think I'm in good company. That's my least favorite classic Sonic game.
Ooh. Why do you think that?
Because the momentum platforming, sometimes you can't control what you're doing. And then once you throw in a couple gameplay elements such as... Or, hang on, let me rephrase that. You know, me personally, I want to get the best ending in a video game. And so with that momentum-based platforming, sometimes you can't control what you're doing. So you want to go to the past, obviously, to and hit that signpost so you can go destroy the Metal Sonic capsule and the other capsule that's in the past. But sometimes you don't do that. Sometimes by accident you go to the future, and then all of a sudden you're in the bad future. Or sometimes you're going really fast, you hit that past capsule, or not capsule, but the signpost. Then you're going really fast, but suddenly you get stopped. And so you've wasted that opportunity to time travel back into the past.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things like that where now I'm really, really having to manage my speed, or I'm having to really focus on those things. Now, I'm not trying to say I play the classic games to zip through as fast as possible, but I'm not the best classic Sonic player, so there were some things that were out of my control that I didn't know. Like, oops, I accidentally hit that enemy. Oh, F. Now look at that. I can't go back to the past. Oh, and I've got screen locked. I have to go finish the stage now. So, for that, I didn't like Sonic CD. Good game, though. It was designed well. The levels are hilariously maze-like, but it's not a bad game at all. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I like it, but I can definitely see why other people don't like it.
Yeah. What do you like about it? I'm curious.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I just find it... I don't know. Well, okay. I hate saying that. I hate being just like, well, I find a game fun, because I know there's nothing wrong with that. But then, like, people who hate the game are like, why do you like it? And then I'm like, I don't know. And then I sound like an idiot.
Well, no, I'm not a guy, or I'm not trying to put you on the spot to defend yourself. I'm curious because, at least I believe, when it comes to Cartoon Hedgehog video games, if you like one of the games that I don't, you're kind of like a better fan than me, because you see something in it that I don't see. And so for that, like, tell me what you like about it. So I'm personally just curious. I want to see if I can see it through a different lens.
Alright. One thing, I guess, is nostalgia. Oops, whatever. I played the game when I was a kid on Sonic Gems.
That's fine. I'll take that. That's a fine reason.
And well, I feel like there's more. Well, okay, I feel like there's more to do because like you can go into the past and then now you have to find the generators, whatever. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But if you want to get the most out of the game, you can do whatever you want. And then if you want like something in between, you can just get 50 rings and then go to a special stage. And the special stages are really iffy for me. I like them. I don't like them. I really don't like the Sega CD versions. But they're a lot better on the HD remake because there's actual real 3D.
Yes. That was a big fix. Or a ginormous fix.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll raise my glass to that for sure. That's funny. So, like, recapping, putting words in your mouth, mine as well, is kind of like what I don't like about the game in a way is kind of what you like about it. Is that you have all those different things that you can do. I just don't like how I'm not aware of that and I screw up trying to get to them. But you like the fact that they're there. You know they're there, and so then you can go and do them.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more tolerable if you have like a map where that shows you where the past capsules are. Like, okay, I'm not a person who finds like just wandering around levels all that fun, but I do find going to places and levels fun. So that's why I use a map.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's been a couple times where I booted up Sonic CD. I went on to Sonic Retro, looked up Palm Tree Panic present map, looked for the past capsule, and I've went off. There's been plenty of times I've looked up maps specifically for Sonic CD.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree, that's kind of fun. It's not fun when you try and get that generator that's right up there on that platform, and you gotta jump on like this really tiny tile to try and jump up there, and then you keep messing up on it because you're just not good at these games. That is infuriating. And then you can see the capsule. Or generator. Let me say the right word. You see it right up there when you jump up, but you can't get it because you keep falling, and that's not fun. But that's more on me.
I think what would have really been fun if the game was designed like Sonic 2 levels, the good levels in Sonic 2, like Emerald Hill and like Chemical Plant.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are the good levels? Mystic Cave 2?
And if like you had to build up speed through those levels, and you could find like your own way to build up speed instead of having to like find springs that lock you into something to get speed. Like that's no fun.
Right. Yeah, the level design is very unique to the Sonic franchise in that game. Some people really love it, and I respect why people love it. I personally, I'm kind of with you. I don't want to be locked into having to do a particular thing because, oops, I accidentally hit the red spring, you know?
Yeah.
But, oof. Okay. Which zone... Still talking about the Genesis games, because we mentioned Sonic 2, and then specifically Mystic Cave. Which classic Sonic zone do you hate the most?
Ooh.
Is there one you hate? I should start off with. And then, which one do you hate the most?
I have a lot of hate. I hate Morrible Zone, because that's the one stage I couldn't get behind, and that music freaking haunts me to this day. It's so melancholy, and it's like... Isn't it so sad that you can't get past this stage? And I don't know what it is about the classic Sonic games, but I could not get past the second zone in any of them. Not Sonic 1, not Sonic 2, not Sonic 3, not Sonic CD, not I don't know, there was more. Not Sonic Labyrinth? Question mark?
Did you ever play that game?
Yeah, it was on Mega Collection. I had like all the Sonic Collection games, and that's how I played classic Sonic.
No, I mean, I do too, but I never even touched Labyrinth, Drift, or its sequel, and none of the Tails games.
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot. No, yeah, Sonic 3D Blast. I couldn't get past that second zone either.
Oh, oof.
I don't know.
You know about the dude who made that game, right? Like how he has that YouTube channel and how he's making the director's cut?
Yeah.
So have you seen the videos of like him like teasing the cut so far?
Yeah.
he's fixed literally every single problem.
Yeah.
And like he's actually taking like input. Like some people didn't like the supersonic transformation animation from the first build. Next build, he fixes it. And I'm just like, this doesn't happen every day.
That's awesome. He also changed like the tiles to green, and people are like, I don't like that. And then he changed them back.
Personally, I like that.
I liked it too. People were saying that they should be like all green, and I think that would look ugly.
Yeah. But then he explained it in the next update that this time he made the tiles match like the original Green Hill or something. And then that, like, okay, you explained it to me. I see what your vision was. Okay, I can live with this now.
Yes.
Oh, wait, but going back to the classic games. So you hate Marble Zone for sure. I agree. Horrible Zone. Is there any zone in 3 and Knuckles that you hate?
All of them?
Really?
I don't like Sonic 3 Knuckles.
Really?
Smoldering Take.
Okay, on like a normal scale, like 1 to 10, how much you like that game? Obviously you don't, but what would you rate it? Like, personal scale.
4.
Like, how much do you hate it?
I just find it like I don't know. I just find it boring and really hard to go through. So, right. I mean, I guess I don't hate it with a burning passion or whatever, but it's just like I don't like this game.
What you said though about not passing? Wait, what's after Angel Island Zone is Hydrosity, right? With Sonic the Knuckles. Yeah, I never got past Hydrosity.
Me neither.
I think is the zone after Hydrosity Flying Battery?
No, is it? No, that's Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I've hit Flying Battery before, but same story. Never got past that.
Yeah, that too.
As soon as I hear that, and then you see Sonic going around in the battleship, and little kid me is just like, okay, I'm done here.
I remember making it to the boss. It was like the most stressful thing because it's like I never
even managed the boss, dude.
Yeah, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and then the boss kills me, I get a game over, I have to do everything all over again.
Oh, one of my Sonic 3 and Knuckles memories I have was I bought a used game at a retro game shop, and this person had a bunch of saves, and one of them, they were on Carnival Night Zone, so I played that one because I assumed that was the farthest they were in the game. And it was a hockey tournament, I think I was at, in Canada at the time. So I'm playing this on the big hotel room TV or whatever. Lights completely dim. Parents are out drinking with the other parents. I beat the boss in Carnival Night Zone. Literally, I kid you not, 9 minutes, 58 seconds was when I got the final hit.
Oh my god. I hate Carnival Night Zone because it's so long.
The barrel problem, I never had a barrel problem with it. It was just so long. And whoops, you hit the spring. Oh, now you're all the way back at the start of the zone. Haha.
Does that actually happen?
No, but you just get pushed back. But, you know, like when a spring is obviously put there so you hit it, and then you accidentally start traveling backwards. Like,
yep.
That was a horrible Sonic player. But yeah, I knew you die after 10 minutes, so I'm looking at the clock more than I am trying to wait for, like, the boss's frame so I can get my hits in. That was scarier than the championship game we had the next morning. Oh, I loved it though. This goddamn hedgehog, man.
This goddamn so cartoon hedgehog.
I know, man. It's just wild. That's still so curious though. You don't like 3 and Knuckles. I respect that. But that's just so curious because a lot of people hail that as like the peak Sonic game, or like the best one in the entire series.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what one thing kind of bugs me about that game? It's a weird thing.
What?
Is how Sonic looks.
Yeah.
It looks like they made like a 3D model of him and they kind of like referenced that, but it was a little too bubbly. Like, that looks like modern Sonic in a Genesis game, and it's weird because the proportions just like no.
Yeah.
Mania did the right thing.
I don't like how Knuckles looks in that game at all either. I like him way more in Mania. Like, okay, I understand, like, it was Knuckles, blah, 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 they had to get, like, their footing with his sprite.
Right.
But I don't know. I like him, like, in Chaotix way more. I know a lot of people disagree.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good take. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks really good in that game.
It was that.
He's pink, though.
Yeah, but the sprite is good. When he looks like a dog. When I first was playing those old games, 3 and Knuckles, I saw him and I'm like, hey, look, it's a dog.
Yeah, I like how he was a dog.
Right. But, yeah, the character sprites for 3 just seem too bubbly. I think that's the word. They look too. I think they look too realistic. I think that's what it is. Like they were trying to go for like a real approach, and granted, it worked. ? But it's kind of weird. And then plus, since the sprites are so drastically different than the sprites from Sonic 1 and 2, now it's kind of like the continuity of the art style is now in jeopardy.
Yeah. Oh. That gives me another question to ask.
What's up?
What do you like more of like the box art? American Sonic or Japanese? I already know what you're gonna say, but say it anyway.
Oh my god. Do you know what I'm gonna say? What do you think I'm gonna say?
You're gonna say Japanese just like everyone else.
I'm so sorry, but they achieve different things, and I'm a edgy, quirky, individual, unique person, so I kind of like what the Japanese box art is doing.
Yeah.
But I like the American box art because it portrays exactly what this game is, and to American audiences, they would be absolutely baffled by all these squiggly lines and weird triangles and checkerboard patterns. But they're both very good. I don't hate the American box art.
I have a very love-hate relationship with the American Sonic, and not exactly as much love-hate with Japanese Sonic, so I guess technically I like Japanese Sonic more. But
yeah. Are you talking about the art style?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like Japanese Sonic can be very stiff, and I like how loose American Sonic is. But at the same time, he's in, like, the same pose for every picture. And
American Sonic?
Yeah.
Here's what I've noticed. Japanese Sonic always has that smirk and like that just kind of default like look in his eyes. Meanwhile, American Sonic is always like giving like a 1, like a number 1 or like a peace sign.
Yeah.
They both have their different things they always do that are kind of like crutches.
Classic Sonic was a crutch to Classic Sonic, even back then.
Exactly. I wonder if there was like all the networking and like all the technology we have today, like the internet. I wonder if we had that back then, if instead of like a classic Sonic versus modern Sonic like it is now, if we would have had like American versus Japanese Sonic.
That would be wild.
What if that was the OG argument and we just never knew because we didn't grow up in that time?
People go on like Sega Net and debate.
Oh god. They should bring back Sega Net. Said no one ever.
Was that a real thing? I don't actually know what that is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they did have a downloadable service. What's crazy is literally like a cartridge you just threw onto your Genesis, and you could just download games off the internet. Like, there's more to it, obviously. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert, but that's crazy. Like, it's a cartridge. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, goes to the internet. It's so weird.
That's one thing I loved about the Dreamcast. I didn't have a Dreamcast, but apparently you could connect to the internet and get, like, DLC. And there was, like, DLC for Sonic Adventure, and I thought that was really cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Dreamcast is my favorite console, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm very, very upset with Sega. I'm a Sega fanboy. Oh my god, dude! There was me and you were in a Discord group chat. Occasionally, one of us will check it out or whatever. But a couple days ago, I don't know if you saw it, but I typed out my manifesto for if I was head of Sega of America and how I would basically take over Sega and reboot them. I don't know if you ever got to see that.
It sounds familiar. You should say it again.
Okay, well, I'll try and hang on, let me click back here and see if I can read it. It gets a little crazy towards the end, like it starts to get scorching hot take. Oh, what? But I want to find the exact words. Let's see. It's actually very far up here in this chat list. Okay, I see it. Okay, so this is how we can save Sega, guys. This is the master plan. If any of you ever become the CEO of Sega of America, of UK, or Japan, whichever one, here's what you need to do. Sonic Team, put them on also this kind of goes back to Sonic, put Sonic Team on the tightest leash imaginable. Give them one more chance to make a modern Sonic game. It doesn't matter what style they make it in. Give them one more shot. Christian Whitehead's team, hire them, and now they're like retro team or something. Let them do 2D Sonic games and have minimal overview on those guys because they know what they're doing. If Sonic Team can't deliver a good Sonic game, and I'm mostly talking about the level design, if it's the same, my hot take, fire them.
Holy cow.
Because assuming this is going to be 20 years down the road, what I've hypothesized recently is that Christian Whitehead's team, for all this time that they've all been growing up, they've been dumping the ROMs of the Sonic games, literally learning how these games were programmed and how they worked. And my hypothesis is that there's kids growing up now or that have been around for a few years that are on Sonic Retro doing the same exact thing, but with the 3D games. So I'm suggesting, assuming that there's actually people that do that and they pan out, give those guys the reins. Let those guys make the next 3D Sonic game. And I would assume that it's a good game. Those guys are the new Sonic team. And so you've got your Sega IP right there. You've got your Sonic IP right there. That is probably, okay, for the sake of this thing, that is in good hands. And then after that, you can start rebooting, like, what was it? Jet Set Radio, Choo Choo Rocket, Space Channel 5, a few other ones. Sega has Streets of Rage. That's the other one. Sega has a lot of IPs they do nothing with.
Don't forget Super Monkey Ball.
And Super Monkey Ball, exactly. I was even thinking about, what's that one with the chicken dude? What's his name? Oh my god.
Oh, what is it?
Scroll up, I can find this.
Oh my god.
Panzer Dragoon is another one. That's another IP you could bring back. Let me see. What's his name?
Oh my god.
Oh, Burning Rangers. There's another Sega Saturn IP that you could bring back. Oh, Shinobi is another one. I'm literally everything except for this one. Oh, wait. Billy Hatcher. That's who he is.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. Not in 100 years.
I was thinking Alex Kidd. By the way, we would not bring back Alex Kidd. He's dead. Like, he's not the future, or he's not even in the present of gaming and my world of managing Sega. But, yeah, that's my manifesto, basically, for how Sega will take over the gaming industry once again.
Yep.
It was very... I do want to hear, like, your thoughts on that, though, because I've never heard anyone talk about, like, there probably are kids out there, like, learning the inner workings of the adventure games, of the boost games, and there's a lot of people that already make 3D Sonic engines. I can't imagine that in 20 years there won't be kids who are making some kick-ass 3D Sonic levels, and probably, fan games. I find it very fascinating that the consumers, when it comes to Sonic, the consumers are better at making the product for themselves than the actual company is.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen every day.
I don't know what I would do with Sega. Yeah, I don't know. I would say, well, I can't even say like, because I'm not a businessman, not at all, not at all.
Me neither. Yeah.
But so I don't know what would be good for like business, and I don't know what would even be good for the Sonic series.
Right.
So I just have no idea. I just watch Sega do their thing, and if they don't like it, I'll be like, "Hey, I don't like this."
You'll just kind of be sitting in your office, just kind of like tapping your hands, just like, how did I get here? Your little scratchy weight nameplate that's all nice or whatever on your desk, just like, okay, cool.
Ew.